Home sellers, for years, I've been saying, what would happen if you priced your house for $1? Turns out someone finally did it. Well, almost. I've sold over 2,500 homes, roughly 50 times more than the average realtor. And today, at the risk of saying, I told you so, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I told you so. So stick around and I'll tell you about this insane genius who listed their house for $35 and sparked a bidding war and a media frenzy. Welcome to Talking Realty, the podcast for home sellers who want to make more money, save time, and avoid headaches. I'm Glen, realtor and founder of the Ohio Property Group, where we do the same things as traditional realtors, but instead of charging 6%, we charge a low flat fee, so you keep more of your money and still get much better results. Check out all of the free seller tools today at talkingrealty.com. And if you love the show, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get to it. Oh, for years, decades, I have been surrounded by people who love to tell me when I'm wrong. Seriously, I got sisters, I got mothers, bosses, friends, wives, mouthy teenagers over the years, and for the past 25 or so years, clients and other realtors. Telling me when I'm wrong is more popular than, I don't know, pickleball, probably. So you can only imagine my childlike giddiness when I saw this story hit the wire. National news. And I finally get to say that I was right. But today, as I'm reading through my junk mail, I ran across a news item that almost made me drop my coffee cup. So Wes, my buddy, just replaced it. It's a hand-thrown Wes Butterfield original. Anyway, he just replaced it, so I don't know that he'd be real happy with me if I did it again. So this is a legit news item. It's about a property out in Oklahoma that hit the market for $35. You heard that right. It's not $35,000, not $350,000, not $3.5 million, 35 American dollars. And where I come from, we call that an opening bid. Now, I don't know anything else about this property, but I went ahead and read the story. So why did I do that? Because where on earth in 2025 can you buy a condo for $35? I mean, even if that condo was put out there reasonably priced, I wouldn't be interested. I'm not looking to move to a condo and I'm not looking to move to Oklahoma. And if that condo was reasonably priced, I wouldn't be interested. How do I know? Because I get dozens of emails every day from realtors telling me about their latest listing, their latest price drop, their latest open house. That's not news. That is spam. But a condo, move-in ready condo, according to what I read, for $35, okay, I mean, I was ready to make an offer. Once I got over kind of the initial, like, I can't believe this is real, the kind of shock of it, my mind was instantly transported to my old office back in Lima, Ohio in 2003. There I am. I'm talking with a rather stubborn seller of mine, and he's been on the market for months. Everything around him is selling. And we have this weekly call, which he very rudely kept showing up for on time every week. So week after week, we go through the same numbers. Web views, thousands. Clicks, a few. Showings, nope. And offers, no, not a chance. He was kind of I guess we'd call him a blamer. He was a blamer. He's like, man, it's your system. Shouldn't have listed with you. It's your sign. It looks different. It's your website, or it's your marketing. It's your telephone skills. It's your hairstyle. I mean, that felt kind of personal. But anyway, my response was, especially after quite a few of these, like, hey, brother, it's your price. So after many carbon copies, you might have to Google that one, of the same call, I was hit by a flash of just momentary clarity, which happens, I don't know, every 20 years or so. But as if I was watching myself say this to this guy, I heard the following come out of my mouth. I said, what do you think would happen if you went down to my non-working sign and covered it with a bright neon poster board that says, today only $1? What do you think would happen? And he was like, oh man, you need to be serious. You need to take this more seriously. I said, I am being serious, so just hear me out. What would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. What would happen is you wouldn't make it back to your front door before someone offered you that dollar without even seeing the house, without seeing my website, my marketing, or my hair. What would happen is you'd have a line of bidders around the corner having to navigate news vans to get to you, each one bidding higher and higher, while the news people doing those live remote things about this crazy person out in Lima who's selling his house for $1. So the good news is he saw the light. He's like, yeah, of course. I mean, if I offered it for $1, somebody's going to buy it. I said, okay. So now we can agree that somewhere between what you're asking right now and $1 is the price that your property will sell for today. And since then, I've been preaching this, hoping for a chance to make it happen. Like seriously, I just knew that if we pulled this stunt, it would go viral. So back to my news item. The property used to belong to Kevin Durant. He's a pro basketball player. It's not his now. He sold it some time ago, and then now the next owner is selling it. But anyway, they listed it for $35. Within hours, it's all over the news, and offers at the time of this recording were approaching 800,000, and they weren't done. So this wasn't just a PR stunt. This was a textbook market psychology plan in action. I mean, the home went from $35 to 800,000 within a day, and they're not done. The bidding war is still going. So who knows where this thing's going to top out. But the point is, the listing created maximum buyer attention through two ingredients: marketing, which was MLS plus syndication, which is what we do, plus attention-grabbing presentation, $35. Now I got news stories on top of news stories, and here I am talking about it 17 states away. So the other is pricing. Of course, price below today's market value. We just talked about this. In this case, extremely, way below market value, which only serves to prove the theory, or as we say, truth number one, the market never lies, not ever. If you have great marketing and great pricing, the market literally won't let you undersell. The opposite is also true. If you have poor marketing, poor pricing, or heaven forbid, both, the market won't let you oversell. So all this hand-wringing and worrying and conversations and stressing over the perfect price just seems to be a giant waste of everyone's time. This is my opinion. In the end, you'll either come in high or you'll come in low, or somewhere along that spectrum between too high and too low. And no matter what you do on the high-low price spectrum, the market will instantly tell you how you did. Now, I don't know what problems the KD condo has, but I do know this: it's not new, and I very much doubt that it's perfect. So here we are, a day or two into this bidding war, and I promise you, no one is talking about the photos. They're not talking about the description. They're not talking about the paint color. They're not talking about the condition of the carpet in the master bedroom, or maybe we should redo some of the landscaping, because it's $35 freaking dollars. The value proposition is overwhelming. And when you combine overwhelming value with amazing marketing, you have no choice. The outcome is inevitable. You're going to find out exactly what the market thinks of your property right now, today. Hey folks, over the years, we've gotten so many requests for our tools from home sellers that we decided to put them all together in one place. We call it the Ultimate Home Selling Toolkit, and we're just giving it away. It's free. It's packed with the same contracts, forms, checklists, everything that we use every day to manage hundreds of home sales a year. And if there's something you wish we would add, just ask. We regularly update this thing. Get your free copy today at talkingrealty.com, or check the show notes or the YouTube comments for that link. Seriously, hit the pause button. Go do it now. You can thank me later. All right, back to the show. So let's run down the lessons from a $35 listing. I am so in love with this idea. I would say I wish I thought of it, but I did think of it. I just never got anybody on board with it. Anyway, truth number one, the market never lies. When the dust settles on this property in Oklahoma, you know what we're going to have, right? We're going to have today's best offer with arguably the very best terms we could imagine for today from today's strongest buyer. That's what we're going to have. The strong shall survive. And the seller is going to be making a choice between taking that offer, waiting, or walking away. Seller has all those choices. So if you're overpriced, no amount of marketing is going to help you. You're going to be invisible. And if you're priced below market with great marketing, you will get offers, period. That's how the market works. Because say it with me, the market never lies, Not ever. Next lesson, truth number 2, if it's not selling, it's overpriced. And you can tell this by watching your stats. Views indicate daily traffic, just like cars driving by your sign. That's what views are. Somebody runs a search, your property shows up in a thumbnail with a price and a tiny bit of information. Click through rates. That's the next step. Under 4%, you either have bad pricing or a bad first photo or both. Bad marketing, bad pricing. Like those cars just, who pull over to get a better look. That's kind of what that's like. Maybe they take a flyer, maybe they take a photo, jot down some information, but either way, that's what a click through is like. They're stopping online and they're just getting a little bit better look. Now, showing, if you have showings or a lack of showings, that's the next link in the chain. Some buyers will take that step and set up an appointment to walk around inside your house. This is a good thing because that's how offers happen. And then, of course, offer activity. None or only low offers, that's still the market speaking. So if it's not selling, it's overpriced. All of these things indicate that. If your views are strong, but your click-through rates, your showing rates, and your offer rates are not, you have a pricing problem and or a marketing problem. But I will tell you this, if it's priced well enough, I've seen some pretty bad photos and the property still gets sold. I've seen some really terrible descriptions and the property still gets sold because the price is like a tier 1 driver. Price and marketing are the two most important levers that you could pull when you're trying to sell your property. All that other stuff, including skilled negotiation, which I place a high value on. All the other things, the photography, the description, how detailed are the listing details and so forth. All of those are tier 2 levers. You could combine them all and they won't have the power of even one of the other two, pricing and marketing. And here's the crazy thing. We know all this about statistics, and I've preached about this over and over, but when the property is overpriced, it's like statistics and logic go straight out the window. Most sellers don't care about this. I bring them right back to reality because they will want to bring up everything on the planet except the price. Like my guy in Lima 20 years ago. Sellers really haven't changed all that much. They'll think we need a new description. They'll think maybe we need to rearrange the photos. I don't get that one, but that's what I hear that a lot. Maybe we need to do some updates. Okay, well, if you're doing updates, you're just raising the value proposition. You're giving them something quote unquote better for the same price. But if you do updates and then raise the price, you're shooting yourself in the foot. The other one is maybe, our square footage, it shows online as 2135, but it's actually 2147. Okay, trust me, it doesn't matter. I get why you want that. If it's off by hundreds and hundreds of square feet, great. But odds are it's not any of those details. Or we should have more and longer open houses. Okay, no, because there are two ideal moments to have an open house. One is the first Saturday or Sunday, not both, Saturday or Sunday after you launch the listing. So if you launch, whenever you launch, sometime during the week, have an open house that Saturday or Sunday, short, early open house. The other is right after a price change. These are the most ideal times. You can certainly do more, but I think you run the risk of looking a little desperate if you're having, multiple open houses a week. So unless you're just overrun and you're trying to get everybody through for the massive bidding war that's on its way, I would say all of those open houses are not going to get you where you want to go. But anyway, sellers want to put everything except the price under the microscope. And I know it sounds like a go-to when a realtor says, well, you need to lower your price. Well, look, if your marketing is solidly in place, a lot of those other tier 2 things aren't really going to help you until you fix your price. They will help you, but not until you fix your price. It's a bigger problem. It's like, as they say, arranging deck chairs on the Titanic. The Titanic had bigger problems than some deck chairs that were out of order. So part of my job as a realtor is to tell the sellers what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, what they need to hear. So if your marketing is spot on with data to prove it, in other words, hundreds or thousands of views a day across several websites, if you're not getting showings and offers, trust me, it's your price. As the Oklahoma broker proved, if you price it low enough, they will come and they will bring their wallets. They will bring their offers. I will guarantee you at least a percentage of those buyers never even saw the place, never went through it. Now, They will eventually, but the point is, when your value is overwhelming, this is the response you get. So we know that the market never lies. We know that if it's not selling, it's overpriced. But another truth that I love to bring up is that more buyers equals more money. Truth number 6. The whole point of great pricing is to generate more buyers. Great pricing and great marketing lead to more buyers, and ideally multiple offers. Auctions and bidding wars prove this every single day. If the Oklahoma broker had priced the property at market value or worse, just over market value to leave room for negotiation, as I hear so often from sellers, none of this would be happening because there would be no market buzz. I certainly wouldn't know about it clear out here in Ohio, and there wouldn't be all this media attention. Average or above average pricing does not lead to a bidding war and definitely doesn't lead to a viral news item. Because of all of this attention from this crazy stunt, the seller is actually attracting the absolute highest number of potential buyers. I'll also bet you there were people bidding in the beginning, at least, who didn't even want the place, but they heard about it and thought, what the hell? I mean, why not? It's a $35 condo. I can sell it for $36 and make money. Those early bidders, though, and all that attention from the media is what started the bidding war. And now serious buyers with serious money know all about it. Like, it didn't get lost in the din of other listings that were just like it, average priced, average listings in an average market. So don't underestimate the buying mentality when there is the prospect of a deal. I learned about this years ago. I really wish I could remember his name, but it was a continuing ed class I took many moons ago. And it was he was an auctioneer, and part of his preaching about marketing was the prospect of a deal. That's what gets people to come to an auction. That's why they start eBay bids at a penny or a dollar or whatever they do, is because people think, oh man, I might get a deal. And they may fall off as we start to approach true market value, but that's okay. All right. Those other bidders, they created that frenzy and they created that FOMO for other people who really do want it and know what it's worth. So without that frenzy, though, you're never, ever going to reach the tippy top of today's market value. And the fourth truth, which really isn't a truth, it's a fact, is that you are always in the driver's seat as the seller. So just because somebody makes you an offer, you do not have to take that offer. Just because somebody offers you what you're asking or more than what you're asking doesn't mean you legally have to take that offer. An advertisement, even in the MLS, is not a legal offer. The offer doesn't start until someone signs an offer sheet or a purchase contract, and it's not a deal until everybody signs and agrees on the terms. And now that commissions are no longer in the MLS, you don't even have to worry about a procuring cause, which is it's a whole different rabbit hole. But the point is, since no commission is being promised in the MLS anymore, you owe nothing unless you accept an offer that specifically has language about the commission. Thanks to the NAR lawsuits, commission was removed from the MLS. So if the offer and none of the addenda, which is the other paperwork with the offer, makes no mention of a buyer agent commission, you as a seller do not pay one. If your listing agreement has a buyer agent commission spelled out and the offer doesn't, in my company, you don't pay a commission. But almost all other cases, your agent probably just keeps it all. So if you agreed to pay 6% and an X percentage of that was going to the buyer agent, no buyer agent means your agent became a dual agent and they keep all the money. Dual agency is not today's rabbit hole, so I promise I will skip over that. But the point is, if it isn't a deal that you want, don't sign it and you don't have to take it. Offers can be, as in the Oklahoma listing, way over list price, and the seller can sit and wait for a better offer, which the last I heard is exactly what that seller is doing. According to the broker, they've got all these offers. We're up to near 800,000 at that point, and the broker said the seller's holding out because they believe there's more there, more meat on that bone. Home sellers, this episode of Talking Realty is brought to you by our friends at Associates Title. This team is shaking things up by focusing on what truly matters, which is putting the customer first. Whether you're buying or selling or investing, whether you're for sale by owner or working with a realtor, it doesn't matter. They've got your back with incredible cost savings and the latest technology to streamline the process. Their secure online portal keeps everyone in the loop, from buyers and sellers to lenders and agents, all while keeping your data safe and communication crystal clear. If you're getting ready to make a move, don't underestimate the importance of having a great title company in your corner. Check them out today at associatestitleinc.com or call my friend Ryan Phillips at 614-419-2418. Do not leave your title company choice to chance, and definitely don't let the buyer or their agent make that choice for you. All right, back to the show. All right, so let's take our $35 example and tie it back to today's Ohio sellers. All right, so if you're for sale by owner or you're off market, you're already in trouble, because remember, two giant levers: pricing and marketing. You can't possibly replicate the MLS exposure or buyer syndication on your own. I mean, you can probably try listing it for $1 and hope the media picks it up. But the reason the media picked this one up is because it was on hundreds of websites before the media spotted it, and somebody told somebody, who then thought that their editor thought it was a great idea, so off it ran, and then one story led to another to another. That's how that happened. But I very much doubt it would happen. First of all, you're probably not going to list as boldly as this person, but if you list at regular price or market value or somewhere in that range, and you have no MLS and no syndication, you have no attention, or at least not nearly the attention. Now, I know that you can list it on certain sites and it works. A lot of for sale by owners put their sign in the yard, and that's all it takes. But go back to what we just talked about. Truth number 6: more buyers equals more money. It's more showings, it's more offers, it's more money, better terms for you, the seller. So it stands to reason that fewer buyers equals fewer dollars. And I know this because if you went to an auction that had one person at it, how good are those prices going to be versus having 1,000 people there? It's going to be a completely different auction. For sale by owners also tend to price based on what they want. Actually, this is true of all sellers. But if you're a for sale by owner and you've got the marketing problem and the pricing problem because you priced based on what you wanted, not what the market supports, you combine that lack of exposure with a price that's either average or slightly above today's market, and you're going to wind up being a very frustrated seller who honestly believes, and this is what I hear from a lot of for sale by owners because I talk to them every week, I make it a point, they honestly believe that they're being boycotted by realtors and buyers because they're for sale by owner. No, you're not. You're being ignored, or worse, invisible. They don't even know you're there. So it's not that they see you and ignore you. They never see you. For some reason, it's easier to believe that the entire realtor community got together and boycotted you than it is to believe that you're just overpriced and underexposed. Regular sellers, if you're in the MLS, the problem isn't always marketing. In fact, it's almost always the price. If you're on the market and you're not selling, you're not happy with the activity you're getting, blame everything else that I mentioned earlier, the photos and the description and, the realtor and the sign and my hair and all that good stuff. But I promise you the problem isn't there. You may have problems there, but they're not the overriding issue. It's like stubbing your toe when you have cancer. You should probably go deal with the cancer. The stubby toe is, yes, you should deal with it. It's very immediate. It's easy to grasp. But the other one is a much, much bigger problem. Great photos, videos, descriptions, they're all meaningless if nobody ever clicks. So if you've got the most amazing interior layout and you've staged it perfectly, but nobody ever clicks to see the interior photos, nobody ever comes to see the property because it's overpriced and or underexposed, then none of that matters. None of it matters, because your price is essentially one of the biggest filters for your buyers. If they see a front photo, a little bit of information like where it is, maybe how big it is, they're going to then compare that to the price. And by the way, the hundreds or thousands of other properties that they can choose from, and they're going to make an instant reaction. Buyers can't possibly deep dive every property that comes on the market. You have to get their attention quickly, just like a commercial, just like an ad. You have to get their attention right away. And if it's a great property with a great price and great marketing, you're going to get the attention of a lot of buyers and you won't undersell. So if these buyers are perusing the web and they see homes that are similar to yours at first glance, but they offer the same or better features according to what the buyer wants, of course, and a lower price, they're going to pass you by in favor of those other choices. When buyers are searching they're narrowing and narrowing and narrowing things down. They're overwhelmed by the choices they have, especially in this market, and they need to get it down. They only need one. So truth number 4, buyers look for reasons not to buy. And if they see a front photo of a property that looks like a lot of other properties in the area, that's got the same basic bedrooms and square footage, but it's priced significantly higher, if there's no obvious reason why it's priced that much higher, they're going to skip it. Even if it's worth more, they're just going to skip it. On the other hand, if your property presents instantly a higher value proposition, the price for what they get, the buyers will take the next step, even if it's just out of curiosity. And those clicks are going to lead to showings. They're going to lead to more offers and more money. Click, showing, offer, win. Price below market with great exposure. That is the most powerful combination, and frankly, the only way you're going to bring maximum attention and get multiple offers rolling. So what I don't understand, and I just know it's true, is that sellers so often resist this truth. But I have to walk away with, this is a quote, I have to walk away with X dollars. Okay, well, the market doesn't really care what you need to walk away with. Okay, sorry. But my neighbor sold for, maybe they sold in a different market. Maybe they sold at a different time. Maybe there were things about that property that you didn't know. Maybe they just priced it smarter. I didn't say lower or higher or better, smarter. They priced it smarter. Another one I hear, but I'm not desperate. Well, that's great. Then you can still adjust and attract more buyers and not have to take those offers. You get to hold out until your buyer comes along. But you don't get that opportunity unless you attract buyers in the first place. Another one, are you saying my house is overpriced? Well, yes. But no, I'm not saying it because I'm not your buyer. The buyer market, that's who's saying that you're overpriced. And they're saying it by not clicking, by not showing, by not making offers. So what do? I'm glad you asked. You can adjust your price or you can ignore all the feedback. Those are your choices, but you're not going to change the feedback. So what did we learn? The crazy $35 Oklahoma listing proves what I've said for years. If you price it low, promote it well, buyers and bidders will drive your price to the top of market value. If you price too high, even perfect marketing is not going to save you. Sellers, you have all the control over your traffic, over your showings. You have all of that control, but only if you listen and react to what the market is telling you. So if you want a snapshot of today's market value, we offer a totally free home value report. I'll link to it in the show notes, or you just head to my website, and I promise you you're not gonna be able to avoid it. It's everywhere. Get that free home value report. I'll tell you what I think is going on in your neighborhood right now. But the moral of the story is, if you want to sell high, you need to start low and you need to market exceptionally well. And by exceptionally well, I'm talking about the multiple listing service and syndication. Those are the ways to get it done. And with that, folks, I will let you get back to your day. Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you learned a little something, maybe had some fun. The Talking Realty podcast is brought to you by the Ohio Property Group, a family-owned company where we sell houses for a low flat fee. Got a question, got a guest, got a topic, anything you want to know, anything you want to see on here, within reason, for a future episode, I would love to hear from you. Head to talkingrealty.com and say hello. One quick side note, episode 50 is right around the corner, and it's we've already shot it. It's with Tasia and Justin and myself in the studio. We're answering a lot of the seller questions that we get, so you'll finally get to meet them and get to know them a little bit better. So episode 50 coming up in a week or so. Stick around. Hopefully you get as much out of it and have as much fun as we did. Until next time, keep making smart moves in your real estate journey. For the Ohio Property Group, this is Glen signing off. And remember, you can sell it. We can help.